G'day there, mate. It's your boy I Read Reddit back at it again with some more entitled parent stories. This is obviously your favorite subreddit and we've got plenty more juicy content on the way. Now sit back, relax and enjoy the ride, fellas. You're in for a treat. Our first story comes from user Noekepoek, titled, Entitled Mother Assaults Me for Asking Her to Leave My Shop. So, I'm 16 and a male, working in this small store, which mostly got its revenue from a web shop we run from the same building. When my boss had to leave for a family emergency, she asked for me to wait for the postal service to pick up the packages and then lock the door. If anyone came in, I would just have to tell them that we're currently closed. So, I'm rolling out the packages and talking to the driver when this lady with her daughter walks in without seeing them, even though the lights were turned off. So after I was done talking to the driver, I walk in, ready to close down the store for the night. So I see the entitled mother and her daughter browsing the store. I politely ask them to leave, stating that due to a family emergency, we're closing early. The entitled mother refuses, and her daughter looks a bit embarrassed. So I put on a more authoritative voice and ask the lady to leave, which she refuses again. So I calmly take the item she's looking at out of her hand and put it back onto the shelf. At which point the entitled mother grabs onto me and hits me screaming, "I just want to buy something for my daughter!" I'm surprised and push her off easily, since I'm a lot bigger than the entitled mother. She starts screaming at me and I say that I'm going to be forced to remove her from the store by force if she doesn't leave now. The entitled mother now finally leaves the store, her daughter apologizes for the mother, and I close up shop. Our next story is by user Vishigan01, titled, Entitled Mother Wants Me to Give Her My Steam account After a Kid Lost to Me. Okay guys, this is my first post, actually lol, and I'm on mobile. Though I don't know why people give me this warning, I would be grateful to anyone who gives me an explanation in the comments. But anyway, this is one of my experiences with an entitled parent. Hope you enjoy. Our cast is Entitled Mother, Toxic Kid, me, P1 on my team, P2, another player on my team, P3 enemy, who actually wants to play fair. Okay, so this happened a few weeks ago on March the 1st, during that week, because it's holidays here. I was playing CSGO and War Thunder throughout the day. This happened during a game at Dust 2. I love the map, especially on Terrorist team. So the score had become something like 4-1 with me on Terrorists. My team loved to charge through the double doors on the center of the map, mid-doors, and die. Only me, player 1 and 2, stayed back, so it became us versus the entire counter-terrorist team on many occasions. Then I made a plan with the player 2 and 3. It was go to B and flank counter-terrorists, which worked admirably. All throughout the game, TK had been extremely toxic towards us and were basically saying that we were very noob. Then, when we did a comeback, his attitude changed. Here's the conversation. Do note these were all after death, and you can talk to people of different teams, and we talked while spectating.
What the hell? Why is the terrorist team winning, and why are you getting all the kills?
Yo, calm down, it's because I'm better than you in every way. Next game, after it became 1v1 between me and that toxic kid, I won. And he's like,
Yo, he's cheating, he's making an MFN expletive, and a jerk, kick him!
He must be like 10, look at his language. Player 1 says, as he said, he did not cheat. I was with him and he got skills, bruh. Player 2 says, yeah, also he's of course gonna win when you have an SSG-08. A sniper, and he has an AK-47 at close range. AK says,
he's still cheating, I'll tell everybody I play with.
This went on for some time, after which everyone got tired of his rant, and player 3 initiated a vote to kick him. You can guess how that went. After he got kicked, everyone thanked player 3. After the game, this happened. Toxic Kid goes to me,
I know you cheated, and I've reported you, you jerk.
Yo, what's your language, man? I didn't cheat. You're a noob, I'm much better than you. Then, I heard somebody else speak. Entitled Parent enters. Shouting like a madman, she goes, why did you cheat, you C-word, C-word? I ain't even Chinese though, I live in a country where there's a Chinese majority, called Singapore. I said to her, excuse me, what the hell? At this point I was really annoyed and I didn't mind using a swear. Sorry for that.
You should not swear. Swearing's wrong. You should not do it.
Ah, the irony. Well, teach that to your son. He swears like a bloody sailor. Entitled Parent cuts me off and goes,
do not teach me how to raise my son. You must be respectful to your elders, and now I will take your Steam account as punishment for everything.
Now, I have a lot of paid games in my account, and I've advanced a lot in them, so I was shocked. No, I did not cheat. My account has a lot of games worth like $200 total, so I ain't gonna give this to you for free. She is shocked, as nobody probably refused her in her life before.
That is very rude of you. You're going to hear from my lawyers for emotional damage and taking advantage of services.
I'm pretty sure this doesn't exist, by the way. Without my address, name, country, and with a fake charge like that, I'd like to see you try. At that, I logged off Steam and the conversation. As expected, I didn't hear anything about it later, including from Valve. Sorry if there's no police, jail, flying cars, or the FBI, but this encounter was ridiculous considering the situation. Shout out to rslash, who's the best, and I wish you guys luck in not coming across an EP. Bye. Our next story comes from user Dr. End585, titled, Entitled Parent Tries to Get a Classic Car's Owner Arrested Because He Won't Sell It. So, a little bit of backstory. My grandfather used to work for General Motor as an electrician, and as such, when he saved up enough in 1967, he purchased an RSSS 350 Mountain Green Chevy Camaro. He raced it on the rare occasion, and when my mother was born, he parked it for about 20 years in the garage, and only around the time I was born, around 30 years later, did he start taking the car out for car shows. For those curious as to the car's appearance, I'll include photos on this post, which you guys can look at in the description. So, after a recent car show earlier this spring, my grandfather, before heading home with his car, stopped at a nearby gas station. This is a small town in Ohio between Dayton and Springfield, right off the major highway, so it wasn't uncommon for nicer cars and classics to be out and about. Myself, my grandmother, and my mother were at the time in the middle of driving the other three cars, a pair of early 90s convertible edition Camaros and a 1957 Bel Air, back to their house, and yes, this will play into the story later. As my grandfather was filling the tank, a man pulled in with a truck and car trailer and got out to fill his tank. His son, a teenager, hopped out of the passenger seat, and while his father headed inside, the kid headed over to my grandpa. EK is entitled kid, and GP is my grandfather. He says to my grandfather, "Wow, nice car you got there, where'd you get it?" "Oh, I bought it when I was young, or about your age, off the showroom floor." "No way, that thing is way too good a shape." At this point, the father has come out now and is also looking over the car, leaning down, looking under the bumper, things people do when considering buying a car, and checking for possible issues. "Oh, this car is all original. I've owned it most of my life. I take good care of it and make sure that it's maintained." The entitled dad says, "Would you possibly be interested in selling it?" "Oh no, sir, this car's going to my wonderful daughter," or which is my mother, "when I die."
"Aw man, that's stupid. You should sell it and let someone do it outright. It'd look so cool in black with red racing stripes. Oh, and some nice chrome rims."
"I'll tell you what, sir. I'll offer you 10 grand right here, right now to buy this car from you. No questions asked." My grandfather was stunned. Not only was the son already thinking he owned the car, but the father basically just offered the equivalent of $1,000 for a brand new car. He laughed, finished pumping, and around this point I showed up, in my personal vehicle mind you, to make sure nothing had happened, as it was odd for something like a gas stop to take so long. At this point, the entitled kid is leaning into the passenger window of the car while my grandpa wasn't paying attention. His leather jacket scraping against the chrome and him physically rocking the car, trying to reach, honestly, what I have no clue. I apologize for how convoluted this is going to get. So I say, "Hey, what the heck are you doing?" I drag the kid out of the car by the back of his collar, trying as much as I can to keep his jacket off the chrome and the paint. He whirled around, probably intent to hit me, but halted for a minute when he saw me. I'm 6'4" and wear a patch-covered jean jacket that's done up with a bunch of racing patches and firearm brands.
"Hey, what's the big idea? I was just looking."
"Yeah, and it ain't your car. Last I checked, this belongs to that man standing over there talking with your father. Not you, so get the heck away from it." Here the kid gets mad and decides to throw a punch, which he landed, taking a breath out of me. I responded by taking his legs out from under him though, and kicking him in the stomach as he fell. Jesus. The dad starts screaming at my grandfather about how "I'm gonna have you arrested for trying to steal my son's car," and starts to call the cops and causes a big scene. He's raving about how my grandpa was just distracting him while I attacked his son. So of course, the cops arrive and I'm arrested. My grandfather, in his mid to late 70s mind you, is in handcuffs, and this dad and son are ranting to the cops about how we were mugging him and that the kid had been driving the car home just after buying it. So the cop came over to speak to me first. I explained the kid and the father don't own the car and that it belongs to my grandfather, who has owned it since the car was first bought, and how it's a well-known show car, and that we'd been coming home from the car show when all this started. So the cop runs over the paperwork, finds my grandfather's the owner, and this is backed up by the people running the car show, as well as myself. In the end, the father and son were sent on their way with a warning that if they repeated the stunt, they'd be arrested and an apology to my grandfather would be needed. I was given a firm talking to for assaulting a person, even if they were, intentionally or not, damaging personal property. Again, apologies for the length of the story and how convoluted it got. And to those curious, yes, the car was fine. To me, that car is family, and what happened was an embarrassment to my grandfather and my family for the work that has gone into keeping his car in the condition it's in. I thank those who stuck to the end for reading, and sorry for those who were expecting some big mess over this. Luckily, everything ended well for once. Our next story is by user Dr. End585, titled, Entitled Girl Nearly Gets Me Charged with the R word over my jacket. Hey there, I posted recently about an issue between another incident between myself and an entitled parent, and while discussing it with an buddy earlier, I realized I had another story to share. So to explain, I was given for my birthday a Wrangler brand jean jacket, and upon getting this jacket, I took it upon myself to start hand sewing patches onto the jacket that I was gifted, or had collected myself. This included a few video game patches, firearm company patches, Ruger, Remington, Federal, etc., and quite a few racing patches. I enjoy racing cars and have a number of patches for brands I support, or I purchase parts from including Summit, Turbo, Blue, Holly, etc. Now this jacket in the condition it's in now is not cheap. To actually recreate it, it is probably a good couple $100 because a number of the patches are old or rare and hard to get your hands on anymore. So obviously I wear this jacket everywhere and make sure all of the patches are tightly stitched to the fabric to prevent theft, loss, etc. I'll use a seam ripper to remove Velcro from removable patches just so that I can sew them right into the jacket. So, as usual, I'd slipped my jacket on and gone out to get lunch after class. I wear my jacket everywhere and just about every day on campus, and especially when I race. It even has my handle, Smokey, stitched into it, as this is what the people I race with call me. So parking my daily in the McDonald's parking lot, I hopped out, locked the truck, and pocketed my keys. Entering the building, I noticed a few families but didn't pay them any mind. I just walked over to the counter, waited for the mother and her daughter, who couldn't have been any older than 16 or so, to finish their order. When they were done, I requested 2 cheeseburgers and a Coke for there at the restaurant. As I was getting my drink, the mother walked up to me and started asking me about the patches. I'm used to this, as a number of local brands, and those that aren't, people question why I wear them, and I proudly explain my reasoning. This is how this conversation went. EM, entitled Mum, me, EB, entitled Brat. Entitled Mum says,
"Oh, you have such a lovely jacket. Could you please tell me what racing fuel patch is for?"
Ah, of course. It's a racing fuel I use for my car. I'm a small-time racer here locally, and I support their brand for making a wonderful product.
You can't be a racer, you're too fat.
To put it bluntly, I'm not the thinnest person in the world. I'm very broadly built, and I carry a bit of a gut I'm not entirely proud of. I say back to the entitled Brat, anyone can be anything if they put their mind to it. I smiled at this young woman, and this seemed to end the brief conversation, so I walked to the counter and collected my food and sat down to eat. I figured this would be the end of the conversation and encounter. I wish I learned from reading this subreddit though. As I was finishing up my second sandwich and started to throw my trash away, I felt something pull on my jacket. I didn't really think anything about it until I noticed that the tugging sharply changed into a jerking motion, like someone was trying to pull the jacket off of me. Turning around, I noticed that the young woman was trying to get my attention, tugging on the hem of the jacket. I say to her, can I help you?
"Could I try on your jacket, please?"
I'm sorry, no, I'd really rather not take it off. It has sentimental value.
"Please? Just for a minute. What's the harm? I'll give you a kiss if you do."
Again, I'd really rather not. While your offer is sweet, I have to get back to campus for my class, and like I said, this jacket is very special to me. From here, things get odd, as things went from normal to the girl screaming, right there in the middle of things in this dinky McDonald's. And suddenly, all eyes are on me and this girl. The mother, of course, is already dialing 911, as the girl keeps saying stuff about how I tried to molest her and was trying to take advantage of her. All the while, I'm backing away from her saying I didn't even touch her. And I guess the mother figured now was a good time to amp the lies up.
If you didn't touch her, then why'd you take her boyfriend's jacket, you pervert?
What the heck are you talking about? I walked in here with this jacket.
No, you didn't. Her boyfriend gave her that jacket. She wouldn't take it off for anyone. Now you're trying to steal it from her too?
And then the manager comes out. Hearing the claims of taking advantage of, suddenly I'm being detained until the en route police officers can sort out this mess. And the mother is still screaming into the phone with the operator. And the daughter's now bawling about how I groped her. Honestly, writing this, I'm so freaking angry at this point how there's basically no evidence, yet I have to remain to keep things from looking worse than they already do. So the cops arrive, and of course, still the same story from before.
He stole her jacket, and then he started trying to take advantage of her.
And the minute the word showed up, I was in cuffs, and oddly enough, the coat was removed. The cop then walked me out to her cruiser to get my information and figure out the full story. Haven't taken the mother and daughter's statements already. PO is police officer, and she says, "Sir, do you have any ID on you today?" "Yes, ma'am, it's in my wallet in my front pocket." "And can you please explain to me what happened on your side?" "Yes, ma'am, I came in to have lunch. I spoke shortly with the girl's mother about my jacket and the patches. Afterwards, the daughter asked to try on my jacket. When I told her no, she ended up screaming the R word, and the mother started saying I'd stolen the jacket. Sir, can you prove that this jacket belongs to you?" Now here I was a little worried. The jacket is actually only branded with my racing title Smokey and not my legal name. But I remembered about that point, and yes, I did have a way to prove it. Yes ma'am, please would you get out my wallet?" As the police officer pulled out my wallet, I directed her attention to the stitching I'd done on it, which also had my racing title on it in bright orange, matching the 3 or 4 places on my patches, and the jacket that said the same. In the end, the mother and daughter were charged with inciting panic and falsifying a police report. I did get off basically scot-free though. I was warned to in the future have my name stitched into the articles of clothing that might enter this issue again. After this, I stitched my name in underneath a Velcro patch to make sure you could always know it was mine, without someone directly seeing it, i.e. only I know someone couldn't say, pull out the thread and remove my name from the coat. I apologize for the length and rather anticlimactic end. This is likely a less scary situation, and I tried to keep it as short as I possibly could. Hope this is a learning lesson for everyone to put your names on things that are important to you. Our next story is from user LuLuLoopy, titled, "How dare you not have a baby in that stroller?" This happened less than an hour ago. I'm not really angry, I just don't understand how people butt into others' lives unprovoked. For a bit of background, I have a dog, and he has a stroller, one that is specially made for small dogs, and I take him wherever I can because he doesn't like to be alone. He does great in the stroller, and he even visits the nursing home I work in from time to time. He loves old people and calm children. Now for the cast. Me, miniature elephant, MB, mama bear, TL, talkative lady who was talking to the mama bear in line, NL, nice ladies who stood behind me, EL, a noisy pain in the butt, P, papa mine, a clingy fluff. Where I live, a lot of places always give fresh produce this time of year, spring and summer. This is one place that does it the first Thursday of each month. So MB and I arrive early and waited in line along with several other people. P, Papa, has a dog stroller and hates to be alone, so I put him in the stroller and followed Mama Bear. The place was all outdoors, and he remained zipped into his stroller. He laid down calmly most of the time, except to look out, which he did through the screens. Mama Bear started to talk to a lady, and I checked my phone for messages. Entitled lady appears, peeks into his stroller, then lets out an exaggerated and annoyed sigh.
I thought I was coming to see your baby. That's not a baby.
No, that's my fur baby. This is a stroller made for dogs. Mama Bear laughs and tells a story about a time she had the pupper and someone else that thought she was also a sleeping baby. He's so quiet in his stroller, so people assume that.
Really? Don't you think that's a bit much?
I give her a blank stare of mild irritation.
For a dog, that's a bit much.
Depends on the dog. He does well in it, and he's not very independent.
Well, I'm just gonna go back to my place in line and mind my own business.
If only that were the case. I looked at the young woman with her, who I assumed was her daughter. She just turned her head away in embarrassment. Soon, 3 nice ladies, NLs, got in line behind me and were chatting. Nice lady 1 started laughing.
Oh my goodness, I thought it was a baby. There's a puppy looking at me.
I laughed as well and turned the puppy around to say hi. Oh, what breed is your dog?
Yorkie? Oh, he's a big boy then.
Puppy is a breed that weighs 15 pounds. I laughed at their reaction to my chunky monkey of a Yorkie as they cooed over him and he ate up the attention. We were having a nice moment until the entitled lady returned from minding her own business. The entitled lady says to the nice ladies,
You thought it was a baby too. I thought she had a baby that was tiny. Don't you think that's a bit much for a dog? What a waste of money. A stroller. That's not a baby.
Nice lady 3 curtly says,
It's her baby.
Nice lady 1, ignoring the entitled lady, says,
What's your baby's name?
I give them his name, the same name as of a popular soap opera character. Nice ladies find this adorable, but the entitled lady gets irritated by the name I chose, and we all continue to ignore her, as I tell them stories of taking him to work and how he cheers up my patients, and how I took him to work with me around Christmas, donned in a little Santa hat, and we passed out cookies. The entitled lady finally goes back to where she came from, and Mama Bear grumbles something about her being nosy. No grand finale, she left and we all went on with our lives. I often get comments on the stroller and how people are surprised he's not a sleeping baby, but never has anyone acted like it was wrong of me not to have a baby in a stroller made for dogs. I agree, what the hell? Leave her alone. And our final story of the day comes from user Amin Abdul Awal, titled, Entitled Parent, Let me file a restraining order against you for being Muslims. This happened back when I was in Italy. Details are confused. Context, I was born in Italy and lived there about 11 years before I moved to the UK. The thing is that I lived on a flat, and people above me were seriously Islamophobic. However, the rest of the people in that flat were among the nicest people there. The entitled parents would often harass us by playing loud music on their balcony, by constantly dropping things on the floor of which everyone under them could hear. They would often try to mess with my dad's car to the point where my dad would have to park it on the other side of the road of the area, 10 minutes walk from my flat. On this specific day, we get a letter in our mail asking us to go to court. My dad freaks out if we'd never done anything to disturb the peace, nor to attack anyone. My dad calls a lawyer and he suggests that we go to court and we shouldn't fear, as the entitled parents have no concrete evidence. So we do. We ask the whole flat to be our witnesses, and they happily agreed. No one really liked them because they're an annoying bratty kid. On the day of the court hearing, the entitled parents pull out some dodgy crap that pees off the judge. We ended up winning the court case. Turns out we were accused of making IEDs in our home, and we had possession of guns. Also, the entitled mother accused my dad of taking advantage of their 11-year-old daughter. Our good neighbors defended us all throughout. From what I heard, the landlady ended up kicking out the entitled parents because they were harassing us and some other elderly couple. Later, their daughter came to my school and she was bullied the crap out of ever since. But I didn't care. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that story. This has been I Read Reddit, back with more entitled parent stories. Tell me what you think in the comments. I'm thinking of opening a second channel for different style commentary, not just reading Reddit, so hey, you guys that stick around, I'll probably have the link up for it in the next one. And I'll see you then. Bye!